Welcome to the Contractor Success Forum. Today we have a great subject that we all need to talk about. It is creating a culture for mental health in your construction company. It's a big topic today. It's hard to get excited about it, but it's something that we really need to think about and care. And that's one of the reasons that I've started my practice. And who do we have with us? We have Wade Carpenter, Carpenter and Company CPAs, and we have Stephen Brown, McDaniel Whitley Bonding and Insurance Agency. And I'm Rob Williams with Irongate Entrepreneurial Support Systems. And we are on the Contractor Success Forum with you, discussing how to run a more profitable, successful construction business. And maybe today, success is part about caring about our workers and the people that we work with every day and the mental health of those people, because we certainly are in a stressful business, guys. So
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times I don't think we really realize things that happen. And I know we've all shared some stories, but I know Steven's got some he wanted to talk about today. It is sad to hear some of these stories in the construction business, and part of the success of a contractor having good people that take care of you. You want to take care of them. So what do you think about
Well,
that, Steven?
yeah, guys, thanks. This is a huge topic because right now, especially the Associated General Contractors, the AGC, and the CFMA, Construction Financial Management Professionals, they're all in on the issue of mental health. So it took a while for safety to get into the corporate culture for contractors. And you might say, oh, no, that's always been the case. I promise you, it hasn't. In my career, just physical safety was not important. But now it's equally important for mental health to be part of your corporate culture. And so mental health includes everything that makes you mentally healthy. Are you happy on the job, happy in general? Are you fulfilled in your work? Do you like what you're doing? And then that goes all the way to the extreme, which is suicide. And the construction industry, according to the CDC survey, is 4.5 times more likely to have suicides than any other industry. So think of every industry out there that you would think the workers would be extremely stressed. And construction is 4.5 times worse than the worst one.
Yeah,
Steel workers, you name it.
yeah.
Construction industry's worse. They say that in the construction industry, there will be 3 suicides today from construction workers. And why is that? Because it's a male dominated industry and males are more likely to commit suicide. That's a fact. But also, it's the mentality of the construction worker. They're tough, they don't complain, they're stoic, get the job done at all costs. That type of mentality is everywhere. And, we were talking earlier, guys. My dad was a World War II vet. He and my grandfather, who was a World War One vet, you think they talked about their feelings a lot? No. So there were no role for that. But ironically enough, my father was commissioner of mental health for state of Tennessee for 6 years. So he knew how important it was. And taking the stigma away from talking about mental health is a way to get your company culture in the game. You got to talk about it, guys.
Yep. I know you
yeah,
were talking earlier, Stephen, about the average construction worker. I mean, they're getting up early and working hard all day and maybe not getting enough sleep. Can you talk about some of those kind of contributing factors and why it's such
Sure, everything contributes to it. You're away from your family. You're having family problems. You have a loss in the family. You have a close family member that dies. And the foreman's saying, hey, get back to work. Deal with that on your own time. I'm not kidding. That happens all the time. Even if you get hurt and you have chronic pain from a physical injury that you got on the job and you start taking opioids, that increases your likelihood for suicide. So the whole point, guys, is to talk about it and how to talk about it. One interesting thing, and there was a YouTube video. We were talking about the length of YouTube videos needing to be short, but this one's 58 minutes. It's the best 58-minute YouTube video you could ever want to see on mental health. And it's put out by a Caterpillar webinar series, and it's just titled Mental Health on the Job Site. It's a webinar, and Caterpillar puts it on. Michelle Walker, who's a member of the CFMA and works for Family's company, SSC Underground in North Arizona, is very active in it. And then Dr. John Pompey, a licensed clinical psychologist with Caterpillar, put this on. And one thing he said that really hit me was that nobody's ever committed suicide because you asked them if they were thinking about committing suicide. Are you thinking about hurting yourself? A couple of weeks ago in a local AGC meeting, Dan Fordyce, the national president, was here, and they were talking about it was the number one issue that they're going to be addressing and that they have been addressing. And a guy stood up and he said, let me tell you something. If you see the warning signs that someone's not right, you ask them, are you thinking about hurting yourself? Are you thinking about killing yourself? And if they are, they will say yes, or maybe not right now, but I was thinking about it. They need help now. So what kind of help do you give them? How do you set that up? It makes company awareness. You take the stigma away from talking about it. And then you put procedures in place. It's called an EAP program, Employee Assistance Program. But usually your human resources type people put those programs together, but it's your health insurance providers. What resources are available? Have you reached out to different clinical psychologists in the areas where you work where they're available for emergency help? There is even a assessment survey that someone that's thinking about these things can go online and take and help tell you what direction you need to do to get help for them. So mental health is treatable. That's the crazy thing. And when this guy was telling us about a young fellow that everybody loved just becoming distant and killed himself, and everybody was just amazed. It just blew their mind that it happened.
Yeah. I don't know if I told you guys, my nephew killed himself a few years ago, and he was Mr. Who's Who, popular, everything, big, most popular guy in his class. And it was really devastating. It'll not only affect that person, but it affects the whole family around you, and it changes so many lives.
Well, the mindset of the person with that mindset is I'm a burden to everyone. I'm not worth it. I am nothing but a burden to my family, my friends, my coworkers. And nothing could be further from the truth, but that's the mindset.
I know you mentioned some of the warning signs, and maybe we can get into that in a minute, but it's a male dominated profession. I've got some great lady contractors, so I don't mean to, but most guys are like, we don't want to get into all these feeling stuff. And it's just the stigma you talk about. I mean, how do you get past that?
You got to change the corporate culture, Wade. It's got to come down from the top. We
Yeah.
talk about it. Nobody talked about physical safety till they talked about it. Bring it out in the open. Mental health is not a stigma. And that culture means that nobody around there says so and so's acting crazy. The culture is we care. We're going to listen and we're going to help you. We care about you. Now, is that so hard to do? Maybe you don't care and you don't want to do this. You're most probably not listening, by the way. But if you do care, then you not only incorporate it, there's toolboxes, there's a pledge you can take. There's a workforce health day that you can have that you can coordinate every year that includes everything from safety to mental health to your health plan to anything else. But it's all just goes out there to let everyone know this is important to all of us.
I was just in a corporate culture seminar the other day. It was coaches and teaching us how to train and get that into the culture. And it has to start with you guys that are the owners. The HR can do this stuff, but it's not going to happen until
No.
you, the contractor, the owner, the CEO, believe in it and talk about it. It's not going to happen because it has not been acceptable in our culture. I just made a video the other day about we were the Marlboro men. We're tough. And we serve as martyrs. And we used to brag about how miserable our lives were because we'd worked so hard. It was a race to get out there. How many hours before sunlight did you get there to start setting up the job so you could pour it? And then did you stay till the sun was down? And these are summer months, so these are long days. And so you just work and you sleep, not very much, or maybe you go out. That's even harder on yourself. But it's not part of the culture to complain about that. Well, that's the description. It's complaining rather than doing something about it and caring about it. But it does start with the corporate culture, just like we had to do safety for so long. If the owner wasn't bought into that, it wasn't going to happen. It was just a piece of paper we were required to put on the door. And the same thing for your mission, your values, your core values, those kind of things that to put that in there, it starts with the top and it has to be demonstrated from the top. So if the top starts talking about it, then it's going to be a lot harder for those guys that try to shame you into not talking about it. So if the
Mhm.
leaders, hopefully you are the leader and it can happen. And sometimes we did have some leaders. I think one of our strongest leaders, you could tell when it got some social things, was actually a superintendent guy that we had. He had been the owner of a company. So that can probably happen too. So I say the owners, but it really has to happen with you leaders also. So buy that in there, and then it's a little harder for somebody to downplay that and make fun of that process or shame you into the martyr aspect if it starts at the
Mhm.
top.
Bake it in. That's one thing I hear a lot. Bake
Yeah.
it into your corporate culture, just like safety.
Yeah,
It's
and so
gotta
what
be
does that
baked in.
mean? To bake it in, that kinda means scheduling it. If you have certain meetings, when they say bake it in, that means make it part of your process when you have your I don't know which kind of meetings you have, but maybe it's your weekly meetings, your quarterly meetings, or superintendent meetings, or even possibly the job site meetings, because now you have the toolbox talks and the job site that's required now. That didn't really happen back in the days. It had just started when I was in contracting.
Well, that Construction Industry Alliance for Suicide Prevention has toolbox talk samples. It has hard hat stickers. It has posters for your job trailers, for your office. It has cards that everybody can carry. And the
Yeah.
whole theme is called Stand Up for Suicide Prevention. So you can order and get all that stuff online from them. And then when you buy the materials from them, it helps support the Alliance, which is totally nonprofit. But you're right, Rob, and you just have to talk about it. You don't have to be an expert in it.
Yeah.
So people say, this is just not something I'm comfortable with. Well, you better get comfortable with it if you care about others.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just have to get comfortable with it. You talk about it.
I do think about that. You said care about others, and I don't think when people are thinking about doing something like that, they're not thinking about who all it's gonna hurt, and having been in a family that experienced that, it's not about hurting the person that's gone, it's about everybody else that's really thinking. I don't think that would have happened. Sometimes those people may not have done that if they had realized how much it's gonna hurt and rock the whole family for generations. So I think that's part of it. Now, I guess some people get to the point where they don't care, but
My daughter's a psychologist, and she's manned numerous suicide prevention hotlines. And she said, people just want to know that you care.
Yeah.
They just want
yeah,
to know that you care. Just let them know that you care and there's help for them. They're not worthless and they're not a burden.
That makes a lot of sense, but, I don't really know how to figure out. I mean, I've pictured somebody getting quiet, but sometimes people are quiet automatically, but, it is if somebody withdraws, it's tough to really realize what's going on with somebody, and maybe you don't wanna approach them when stuff like that's happening, but can you give us some idea of some of these signs that somebody may be going through?
Sure. And here's the whole thing, too, Wade. The whole culture is you're not uncomfortable talking about it because everybody does it. And say you get in someone's business and they cuss you out. So you get cussed out. You're like, whoa, hey, I just worried about you. That's all. Nobody gets mad about that unless they're. But these warning signs you were talking about, and I mentioned the cards that you can order for all your employees to carry in their wallets. But here they are talking about feeling trapped. You're around someone who's talking about feeling trapped, saying they want to die, feeling like they are a burden to others, expressing helplessness or hopelessness, conflict or confrontations with coworkers, increased tardiness or absenteeism, decreased productivity, problems with problem solving, near misses for an injury, hits, or other safety incidents, misusing drugs or alcohol, acting anxious or agitated or reckless, withdrawing from social groups and interactions, extreme mood swings, relationship issues, major life changes, loss of a loved one, financial difficulties, and any illness or injury.
yeah, that's great. Maybe we can probably have another episode on this and maybe even have a guest that can help us do, because I'm actually really curious now, some specific steps. What do you do when you see these signs? I don't know that we're prepared for that right
What
now.
you do is you talk to someone, and the whole culture says, you notice, say you're having a company cookout and just certain employees are just not engaging. There's something going on. They're not just a bad introvert, and you want to respect their introvertedness. There may be something going on, and somebody needs to talk to, hey, you okay? You want to come join us? What's going on? And can I help you with anything? Is not the way to go. It's like, oh, come on, I want to talk to you. You sit down with them. It's a priority. Your mental health is a priority. Rob, if you were distributing any of these signs, then I'd jump in my car. If I saw you on Zoom doing this, I'd head right over to your office. And Wade, Rob and I would get on a plane and come to Atlanta. I mean, you just do what you have to do. It's that important to not let this happen. And it's just amazing to me how treatable all these, from addictions to depression to thoughts of suicide, how treatable they are. They're
Yeah.
so treatable.
Yeah.
And it's a disease. It's not a stigma. It's a disease, a medical disease that can be treated.
This is almost humorous to this statement that I heard the other day, but you'd think people know. Somebody pointed out when we were discussing this with the coaching atmosphere, that's like, don't text them about it. Don't send them an email. Talk to them in person. I know that sounds so silly to say, but this generation and a lot of the people, the communication can be on text or something and not in person. So when you
Yeah.
ask these questions, this is not a text message. But I guess people get divorced or get, but
Well, that's such a good point, Rob. Yesterday I was talking to my mom, she's 88, and she was asking me what's going on. I was talking about one of my contractor buddies that I was talking to. She goes, well, be sure to tell him I love him. And I said, oh, yeah, okay. Usually it's give him a hug or a kiss for me. And I said, no, mom, I'm not going to do that. But
yeah,
so anyway, I was talking to him on the phone. And I said, my mom wanted me to tell you that she loves you. Oh, that's nice. I love your mom. Yeah, tell her I love her too. And then I said, well, I love you too. And he was like, yeah, right. And I said, yeah, you know I do. Now, come on. And then he started laughing. He goes, yeah, well, I do too. But I mean, that was weird, but it was all because of this awareness that made me do this, the fact that we were
yeah.
talking about this.
It's funny, that made me uncomfortable, just you talking about a third party. I got
Uh,
uncomfortable the
that's
other day. The theme to one of our meetings was
I'm
love
not
your
saying you
client.
have to go that far, guys,
Yeah,
but
it
you
was
gotta
love your
start.
clients, and I like that made me why does that make us squirm so
Well,
much?
it's because 'cause we're 3 guys talking about personal things,
Yeah,
and there ain't a lady that I work with here in the office that won't get totally up in my business. "What's going on? What Hey, you got something on your shirt. Come here. What Why are you walking like that?" That's the culture here at McDaniel Whitley. If you're walking with your head down or something, "What's going on? What are you Come here. What?" And I don't know if it's just a Southern woman thing, but I certainly appreciate it. Anyway, that culture needs to be in your company. You want to be happy, right? You want your workers to be happy. And
yeah,
how you define happiness is sending them home healthy to their family and focusing on mental health, talking about the things that are creating stresses in your workforce
yeah,
openly. Now, I'm not saying do it so much that the job doesn't get done, but have the culture in place that it's as important to talk about. You don't have to micromanage everybody's mental health, but you need to say, hey, we have resources to help you, and this is important to us.
yeah. It's funny, another side to that, one of the reasons that we go over our processes and productivity is to transform contractors' lives but the workers, everything. So it also gets into the fact of the better you run your companies, the healthier everybody can be. The stress and the chaos of the companies, that everything, that the sky's always falling, everything's burning. So one of the aspects of this was by having systems and processes and things in place, it actually can give you a lifestyle where you have a life outside of there. One of the moving things I still remember was when a guy came in my office and he's like, man, I'm just this is the way he described it. He said, I just feel like an animal. I work, I go eat, I go to bed, I come back here. I don't have a life. It's nothing. It's all it is. It's a really hard life. And these guys, one of the other things, having 100 employees and seeing the payroll, man, their whole checks were garnished pretty much by by something else. So they really had a really tough lifestyle, but getting that lifestyle change as well. And that's part of what I try to do in our practice. It's yes, it is the bottom line on the money, but it's also we want to deliver more time for you to not have to be on the job like we did 15 hours a day was not even time to sleep. So have something to live for. So have something to do. So the processes that you can do so these people can take off. And our lifestyle, I mean, there weren't vacations. If you took a vacation too, that wasn't okay. There was no time because everybody had their job and nobody knew how to step in for this guy. But we stress that as well. That's a whole nother subject, but and not as important as we're talking about looking for resources that are accessible to go help when you get in the situation. But part of my practice, the reason I'm doing it is to transform the lifestyles, to make life worth living for the people. And it's not just a battle. And it gets that there's a mentality a lot of times. It's okay, I finally won the battle and we're just waiting for it to end someday. And it's not the way we should be living. And that's not the way we should strive. It's not striving to make ourselves martyrs. It should be striving to make ourselves an example of living a full life.
No, you're exactly right. It's everything we do. It's why we form the Contractor Success Forum. Part of success is managing your business so it doesn't manage you. And we go into that in each and every episode. But also, part of success is contributing to the world and to each other.
Yeah.
So
I do want to make sure we stress again where Stephen, you can tell them maybe where some of the resources are. We'll put it in the show notes. We don't have it in there for links, and go to our website.
Construction Industry Alliance for Suicide Prevention website.
All right.
It's phenomenal. It's
Okay.
phenomenal.
Is that part of the ABC or is it?
No, it's part of CFMA
part of
sponsored it. It's a
CFMA. Great.
nonprofit organization.
Great.
So when you order posters, cards, stickers from them, it helps support them as well. So what a great group. And again, that YouTube video is called Mental Health on the Job Site. It's a webinar put out by Caterpillar Webinar Series. It's absolutely fantastic.
All right. Well, we'll see what we can do about making it part of our culture. And I'm catching myself really low energy. It's kind of hard to be a high energy, make a show when we're.
No, that's okay. But I was worried about Wade. You're quiet over there. You okay, man?
Doing fine.
All right.
Just
And
text
you would tell us if you weren't, or we would get involved if we noticed that something was wrong with you.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right.
But you didn't tell me you love me, so.
I do
Yeah.
love you, Wade.
We love
I
you, Wade.
Rob.
Love you, Stephen.
It's beautiful.
If
See
that
how
makes
far we've come in
sense
just
or
one
not.
podcast?
How comfortable are we with that?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you, guys.
I appreciate you bringing this topic up, Stephen.
Yeah, this has been a great episode of the Contractor Success Forum because not only are we here to make your business more profitable, make it have more meaning, and transform our contractors' lives and the culture that we're talking about. So we can be not only real busy, that we can be the best profession of anything in the world. And so come back and see us. We have Wade Carpenter and Stephen Brown and Rob Williams on the Contractor Success Forum.